let me use my psychic superpowers on you for a moment and see if these things ring true about you. Number one, you identify as a witch. You are somebody who loves deeply communing with nature, and maybe you've been a witch for a long time and you really know what that means to you, and maybe you're a beginner on your witch journey. Number two, you are a lover, girl, boy, individual. You are somebody who loves love. You are deeply inspired by romance, beauty, art, relationships, all of these sorts of things. Number three, you want to know how to read tarot. If those three things are accurate about you, then I want you to stick around because I have some really cool decks that I want to show you. As an Aphrodite devotee, a devotee of the goddess of love, and a professional tarot reader, I recently was sent these two decks by Aphrodite Studios, the Tarot of Aphrodite, which we have right here, and then the Ethereal Goddess Tarot as well. And these two decks, I think, are perfect for people who want to learn how to read tarot, but also who are devotees of love, witches who want to go deeper into their practice with Aphrodite. Welcome back to the Witch's Bedroom. If you're new to this channel, my name is Wisteria Root. I'm a professional tarot reader, love witch, and your guide to sacred sensuality. I'm extremely passionate about teaching people how to read tarot so that they can use these tools to build self-trust, intimacy with other people, and ultimately live their legendary love story. Super passionate about love and relationships. All of this started for me when my witchcraft practice and my spiritual journey was lit ablaze by deity work that I did with Aphrodite during an extremely transformative time in my life. If you're returning to this channel, we probably met during my How to Work with Aphrodite video. This is kind of an extension of that, where instead of talking about how to work with her as an archetype or an energy, I'm going to actually teach you how to read tarot with the goddess of love to get really clear messages about what to do next in your love life. Now, I am really excited to announce something that has never happened before on this channel. This is the first time in all of my time of being a creator that I've been sent PR. Part of that is because of the people who have supported this channel, so thank you so much for being here, connecting with me and Aphrodite, and letting me be part of your spiritual journey. I mean, one of the people who I've discovered and connected with is this amazing creator and artist named Natacha, who is the owner of Aphrodite Studios 333. And they create oracle decks and tarot decks that are deeply connected to connecting with the divine feminine, holding reverence for this beautiful, sensual, Venusian energy of Aphrodite and Venus. And so it's my honor to be introducing these decks to you, and I'm grateful that Natacha sent them to me, and also to get to teach you a little bit about how to really use tarot to commune with the goddess. So I want to start off by introducing the two decks that were sent to me, just as an overview of things that I look for as a tarot reader when I'm trying to find a deck that really meshes well with me. The first one that we have is the Tarot of Aphrodite. Has this beautiful invocation to the goddess on the inside. Aphrodite, goddess of love divine, with you our hearts and souls entwine. May your blessings be upon us all as we answer to love's eternal call. I think that is a gorgeous invocation. I love opening up the box and reading that out loud before I start connecting with the cards. It's great to have an invocation where you welcome in the energy of what you want to work with. When I'm working with other people, I'll sometimes say, I welcome to this space your ancestors and guides. May this message come through with clarity and ease to be remembered in times of need. So I begin the reading by establishing a safe space and also where I'm connecting with. So this invocation on the box creates a safe space and establishes a connection with Aphrodite, goddess of love. Now, the second thing that I love about these cards is the quality of the cards themselves. You can see this beautiful gilded edge that she's got going on the side. and they're very shuffleable. They feel really strong. Also, just a fun little fact, all of the art that's on this deck is made by people who have been dead for over 70 years. So there is deep artistic, hand-drawn human energy that has gone into the artwork on this deck. And I'm an artist and a creative, so I know how much time it must have taken her to go through and find all of the images that match up with the cards and then render them creatively so that they all go together. You can actually find out on her website that all of the work that was done to create cohesive pieces and any of her decks was done by her hand in Photoshop. So no AI or anything like that was used in the making of the deck, which I think creates more integrity when it comes to actually using this as a tool for connecting with the goddess, is having that human to spirit touch that comes in with this deck. The other thing that I think is really impressive about this deck is that it has so many artists who have contributed to it, that the perspective you're getting on love, on Aphrodite energy, it's not just one person, but rather it's this sort of collective frequency of the goddess of love and how to work with her and follow her and things like that. So that's a little bit of an overview about this deck itself. I think that it's extremely high quality. The images are very sensual. I've used them for a couple of clients already since getting them. And what shocked me, honestly, was that the readings are not like fluffy readings. So if you're new to tarot, you've probably experienced this thing that we in the biz call the tall, dark, and handsome. The tall, dark, and handsome reading is where a reader pulls cards for your love life and she tells you that everything is about to change and you're about to fall in love with a handsome stranger and it's all gonna go great. That's called the tall, dark, and handsome because they're telling you what you want to hear, and it maybe isn't the most practical advice. I found that while using these cards for my clients, none of that vague energy was present in the reading. These cards are alive with your love life is based on choices. It's based on choices that you make and that your partner or partners make. And so they really empowered me to tell my clients to really root into what does your heart want? How do you follow the call of your heart? And you might be asking, if you're new to tarot, like, how did I get those messages? Part of it's following my own intuition. The other part is the symbolism of the cards. Now, there's a lot of sensuality in these cards, so I can't show you all of the images, but this one is a great example. The Eight of Cups right here. You can see the ocean with the stormy horizon, this woman barefoot contemplating in the wind. So all of these things together create a symbolic message. We start first by looking at where she's located. She's on the beach. The beach is a liminal place between the future on the horizon, the present where she is, and the unknown of the choppy waters in between. The beach is also a place where mind, the air, the body, the earth, the spirit, the water all blend together. So you can tell that this card is about deep feelings and emotions and the impacts that they have on living our life. The second thing I want you to look at is the person. What pose, what position are they holding? You can see that she's in contemplation. So this Eight of Cups here, if I were to pull it for myself or for a client, it says to me to really focus on where are my thoughts going? Where is my attention flowing to? And am I taking enough time to listen to the deep truth about the nature of the changes that are happening in my life? This card speaks to change. You can see that through the constantly moving ocean, the breeze, the wind. The last thing is actually, what are the environmental factors? That's the third thing I want you to look for in the cards. This one, the wind. To me, that says that things are changing very, very quickly. But maybe you would notice something else. Maybe the environmental factor that you would notice is that she's sitting on this rock. And maybe that gives you a sense of groundedness or stability. The thing about tarot is that there are traditional meanings for each card, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a right answer and a wrong answer. Decks like this are great because they have so much symbolism baked into the cards that you're able to really use your own imagination, which I feel like is the biggest tip that I have for witches and for people who want to learn how to read tarot or do divination, is the best message is going to come from the quiet voice in your mind that connects with your imagination. What's up? This is Editing Wisteria from the future, jumping on in here just to talk to you guys a little bit about this masterclass that we're going to be hosting on May 27th. That's a Wednesday, 7:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to be spending 90 minutes to talk all about the most effective ways that you can use tarot to level up your love life and truly become the oracle of your own love story. So if you want to get our step-by-step method on how to really effectively read tarot for yourself and others, you're definitely not going to want to miss this event. It's on May 27th. You can register for it in the link below, and I'd love to see you there. Bye! Back to the video. So maybe you think about, what is she looking at? What is she doing? What does it mean to be a seer? Why is she on a checkerboard floor? All of these different things that we can find deep, deep symbolism in is going to mean something different to me than it's going to mean to you. But then also, say you want to be a professional tarot reader and you pull this card 3 readings in a row. The meaning of this card is going to change with each reading that you give. So that's where imagination comes in, because maybe I'm reading for you and the first thing that I notice is that she's donned in red and she's deep in contemplation. And so I say that you're connected to your groundedness, to your sense of self, and you're really exploring what your values are. Where maybe I pull this card in the next reading and I pull it for your friend, and the first thing I notice, might be kind of hard to see on camera here, is this skull. And I say that to her it might be she's a little bit deeply involved with like her feelings about the situation, that she's not even really realizing how big the transformation she's undergoing is. It's the same card, 2 different messages that are going to come through for different people, which is why it's so important when you learn to be a tarot reader to trust your own intuition, to trust what you see, not what somebody else tells you is right or wrong. And I think that that is one of the huge messages that comes from being a love witch, is creating internal authority. And that's why I love tarot so much. Most of us are living with external authority, which means that we're waiting for people in the outside world to confirm that we're doing something right, or that we're doing something the right way, or that yeah, the 6 of Swords does mean this, and you want to confirm it with a book or something else. And there's nothing wrong with that as sort of like a training wheel. But if you really want to know how to read the cards, you have to believe in yourself enough, in the voice inside of you, in your own knowing enough to say, this is what I see, this is what it means to me, this is how I'm going to allow this wisdom to influence the choices I make in the near future. Because tarot isn't like a fixed image, it's a snapshot of a moment. So when you set out the cards, these beautiful cards, in a spread, you're going to look at each card as a moment in time that could potentially shift or change in direction or meaning based off of the choices that you make. So tarot is an ongoing conversation about choice. And that's something that I absolutely adore about it. Also, I want to talk a little bit about the second deck that Natacha sent me. This one is the Ethereal Goddess Tarot. And this one is great. It has a slightly different style, but is just as elegant. It's incredibly ethereal. It pulls on a lot of classical Renaissance art. I love the side of this one. It's got the rainbow chrome. I've never seen a deck with this color on the side. It's so cute. The seashells on the back. These are beautiful altar pieces. They're extremely decorative. But what I love about this deck in particular is that in the corner of the cards, you can see this sign and this sign. And this is a witch's secret code. If you really want to take magic seriously, you want to take tarot, divination, all those things seriously, I want you to learn alchemical symbolism, because that's how you're going to take your readings from a guessing game to a real conversation with the universe. This symbol right here, I'm trying to show it to you right there, is the symbol for water, which you can tell because it's a cup and the water is pouring out in the card. Now, water is the realm of our emotions and our feelings. So when I draw this card, I'm like, okay, because we're in the realm of water, this reading has something to do with a relationship, an emotion, or a feeling. Healing, grief, those things sort of fall underneath water. The other thing that we can see is this little moon in the corner. The moon tells me that this card was ruled by the moon, which is ruled by cycles, change, seasons, divine feminine energy with the motherhood, timing, things like that. Whereas this next card is ruled by Mars. So you can tell it's about action, drive, passion, determination, your willpower. And it's also a swords card. So we've got the sword over here in the corner, which tells you it's about the mind. Where this one, the Divine Teacher, I love this one. It is my favorite card in this deck, actually. And I'm just like pulling off at the top right now. But I love this card in particular because she looks like a rose priestess. And if you are interested in Aphrodite and goddess worship or divine feminine energy, if you want to learn how to read tarot, any of those sorts of things, this is all an ancient spiritual lineage that's connected to divine feminine wisdom. And so having this card as the Divine Teacher, and she's dressed in this like red cloak, it's like the red tent that the women would enter into during their bleed cycle. It's this red rose that talks about the timing of love and how to protect yourself and be soft. So there's deep esoteric lore and symbolism baked into these cards that really resonate with me personally, because it connects to the kind of research that I've done, which kind of leads to my next tip for if you're starting to read tarot. You really want to pick a deck that speaks to you. So if you are here, you probably love mythology, understanding like goddesses and how they relate to things. This deck is full of classical art, so it might be a great example for you, because if you've taken an interest in understanding what divine feminine symbolism means, or you want to create that relationship, this deck speaks in divine symbolism and divine feminine symbolism. So it's a great tool to use to deepen your connection to that really ancient feminine magic that knows how to be the oracle, that knows how to perform alchemy using your body and sensuality as a mode of transformation. So I love this deck because it's very thoughtful, it's very evocative, and it speaks my language. It speaks my language. Okay, so far I've talked to you about how to choose your deck, one that really speaks your language. I've talked to you about what it is that you want to look for in each individual card. My last quick tip for you on how to read tarot to unravel the mysteries of love is you're going to want to look at your spreads as if they were moving picture books. What does that mean? Okay, say I'm going to set this card and this card and this card out. I'm going to read this as a story. So we start here with our first card. And so this is where we begin. She's got this energy of sovereignty. She's carrying a book. She's got the veil. There's this sacredness to her. And then we see the journey that she goes on. Where does she go? The next thing, we read the cards. There's grief here. There's loss in this story. And then where does she go from there? There's this outpouring of emotion. So there's many different ways to interpret that. Let your intuition, your imagination determine what is the symbolism of this story. If she was to go from feeling really solid into herself to experiencing this grief to having a new outpouring of emotion, what does that mean to you? And that's kind of what I mean by a picture book, because if you were to pull a different card in a different place, it's going to mean something else. And so there's totally a time and a place for very rigid structure when it comes to learning tarot. But when you're really implementing the practice, I want you to give yourself permission to look at it like a choose your own adventure picture book and see what naturally ends up coming through to you. Those are my 3 most helpful tips on how to really learn how to read tarot, how to really connect with the goddess, how to find your voice as a reader and use these sacred gifts to navigate the mysteries of love. If this just scratched the surface for you and you're like, Wisteria, I need to understand more, please keep going. I'm so happy to have you here. This is what I talk about all the time. This is really the way that I believe that we can change the world, is empowering people to live from the heart and make choices from the heart, using tarot as a tool for self-reflection and intimacy building with others. Okay, I'm gonna give you a bonus little bit of information. Tarot can answer any question that you have. You can ask questions about timing, direction, where am I gonna move? East, north, south, west. See what the cards say. Yes or no, when is something going to happen? So you can ask them deeply personal questions about just about anything, and you'll be able to find direction for your answer. If you find that you're getting really confusing readings, it's probably because you're not listening to the answer you've already been given. So there's that. But beyond a tool for self-reflection, tarot can be an amazing tool for partnership and connection. I have done thousands of professional tarot readings with complete strangers from every background. And the thing that makes it so that I'm able to give incredibly, almost startlingly accurate relationship advice to complete and total strangers is the cards. Partially my intuition, but partially the cards. Because when I set out 3 cards in between you and I, we create this sacred space that says, we're gonna talk about something really deep right now. We're not doing any surface level conversation. We're like talking about what's really on your heart. And when you give people permission to access the sacred part of them, amazing conversations bloom. So you can use this to get to know your friends better. You can use tarot to get to know your lover better by having an active dialogue, right? Pull a card and see what comes up for you versus what comes up for them. There's a ton of ways to use tarot as a tool for relationship building, romantically, but also in your business, in your career. I know a ton of writers who will pull cards for what happens next in the story, or business owners who will use tarot to strategically hone their craft so that it's able to make the most amount of impact in the world. So as beautiful and aesthetic as tarot is, especially when you're using a gorgeous handcrafted heirloom deck like the ones that Aphrodite Studios makes, it's so much deeper than that. It's actually a tool that gives you the authority to make your own choices and believe in yourself to create the life that you really want to live and to live your legendary love story. So definitely check out Natacha's decks, Aphrodite Studios. Once again, this one with Aphrodite on the back here is the Tarot of Aphrodite. The other one that we had with the alchemical symbols is the Ethereal Goddess Tarot. I highly recommend both of them. They're impeccable quality, totally worth the investment. But then also, if you want to actually learn how to wield them, how to use these cards, not just look at them, you can check out the program that I am hosting called the Bedroom Tarot Initiation. It's 12 weeks. We follow the astrological calendar so that you can go from maybe being a beginner in tarot, maybe having experience, but really learning tarot through the lens of love. We're going to break down every aspect of the deck, how to read most efficiently, but we're also going to give you a ton of somatic tools so that you're able to actually hold space for yourself and others, trust your intuition, know what you want in love, stop repeating the same relationship patterns over and over and over again, and really use tarot to live like the most embodied lover version of yourself. So you can check out information for all of these things down in the comments below. And as always, if you have any questions about how to connect with the goddess, how to use tarot, anything like that, hit me up, let me know in the comments, and I try to answer everybody. I appreciate you so much for being here, being on this journey. I give so much gratitude to my ancestors, my guardians and guides, of course, Lady Aphrodite, for continuing to channel this wisdom of how to be an aligned lover in the world, and for this place to be a portal of that love. So we'll see you on the next time, and thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Peace and love.